My name is Angela Layton, and I am a senior at West High School, and I want to study computer science.
I'm Andrew Kimball, and I'm currently a student at Olympus High School. I plan to go to the University of Utah and study business in the David Eccles Business Scholars Program.
My name is Dallin Christensen, and I attend Leadership Academy of Utah, which is an online charter school, and I plan on attending Brigham Young University, where I think I'll study business or law, but we'll see.
Hello, my name is Ashish Sakal. I'm currently at Eastside High School, and I plan to go to the University of Utah, and I'm planning to major in entrepreneurship.
Hi, my name is Clara Tandar. I attend West High School as a senior, and I'm planning on studying medicine in college.
Where I got my biggest start in service was in Boy Scouts, and specifically my Eagle Scout project. So I did it when I was young. I was about 13, and I decided I wanted to do something big. So I reached out to Catholic Community Services, and they offered me a role as a refugee mentor. So I got assigned 2 families, and I was to furnish their apartments and sort of walk with them through their first little bit in our country, because they were brand new into this country. And it's built a relationship that still stands to this day. I mean, I saw them a couple weeks ago for Easter, and that's where I credit my service journey to starting.
I define a need as, I guess, socioeconomic barriers and systematic barriers that are placed in front of, especially like young children, to be successful and pursue the things that they want. Because say a kid wants to pursue dancing, those lessons are expensive, they may not have the mentorship, and past, I guess, like the monetary restraints that a lot of kids may have, you also have like the mentorship, what teacher is the best, what studio is the best, and that can really be applied to anything in science or the arts. And so I think working to address those specific needs it's something that's really helpful, and I think that's where you can also make a greater impact.
Every time I serve, I get like a new perspective on people, whether it's a particular situation, people in general. I just start gaining understanding for people and get that perspective. There's some Mark Twain quote or something, right? Travel's the best cure to prejudice, right? I think it's kind of like the same idea. You're getting into situations and you're seeing people everywhere, and how can you not love people, right? When you're serving them, you're seeing their problems, you're learning about them, right? And so I think that's kind of my general thought there, right? Every time I serve, I learn about those people. I come to love and appreciate them, and that benefits me because I gain perspective and I gain understanding, and I grow.
But I think one way that you really lead others is just to lead by example, to be one of everyone else. I don't think that you should just see a leadership position as a way to really exert power over people, but become like everybody else and work with others and really value the idea of teamwork to come together and make a community better. That's I guess one way that I work towards leading people, and I think that has the greatest impact on a community.
Ms. Barnard at West High School, she is in charge of the tutoring program, and she is so sweet, and she just always says yes, and she has taught me to always say yes to every single opportunity I'm given. Whether that be like someone asking, hey, can I get any help? I'll say yes. And then if it's, hey, do you want to come do this thing, or like this, even though it's outside my comfort zone, I just always try and say yes. And she's always so positive, so I always try and be positive in all those things that I'm doing that are outside my comfort zone.
2020 has pretty much made a big impact around the world, right? And so the way I served did change. I had to wear masks and stuff like that, and we still do wear masks, but I try to find other ways where I could social distance myself and pretty much gather the codes and stuff like that to give. And so I pretty much was aware of what's happening, but I was doing it in a safe way. But it definitely hit me hard.
Things changing in 2021 gave me a lot of different opportunities than I had to serve before. I was kind of uniquely positioned with what I knew and seeing needs that I could fulfill, right? It's different to serve someone online than to serve them in person, and it changed the needs that those people had, right? So like with Youth Court, before it was just a very different situation getting people to court, and now the issue was these people have devices. Is their device going to be able to get on Google Docs with us so we can talk about this, right? And so it was just now accounting for a whole new set of issues, and working through that, and then just kind of like that, lacking the face-to-face, right? It's kind of crazy. It's been a long time wearing masks and stuff, right? And so it's just kind of a interesting thing to like lose that service face to face, because that's, I think, a lot of people's favorite part of service, right? To be there with the people and to see the impact.
We had to go virtual in every single activity that we did. And so tutoring is virtual, SheTech is virtual, Hope's like everything is virtual. And I think it just really changed the way that we have to communicate and get information out. So a lot of the information now is online through like posters that we make on Canva and emails and everything like that, and announcements on Canvas. And so that's really changed how we communicate, but also it's changed the way we serve. I feel like service online is a lot more convenient, especially with tutoring, because people can just hop on really whenever, and if they don't feel comfortable, they don't have to show themselves. But it's also kind of made like a barrier between who you're talking to, so I think that's something hard about it.
The challenges that I face is obviously, bringing community together. It's really hard at first because I didn't have those kind of resources. I didn't have those kind of system in place as I do now, and I'm slowly building that. It was really hard. The system, not having that system in place was hard for me.
One of the nonprofits I work for is called Sammy's Buddy Program. Their mission statement is to normalize difference. So they work with special ed students, and they pair them with a general ed buddy. I've worked with them since about 2019, and we haven't got to see them much this year, but I worked with them a little bit last year, and it's just amazing. I mean, because we've just started to be able to be allowed back into the classrooms, and it's amazing. You can see the difference in these general ed students as they are paired with these buddies, as they do service. It changes them. It moves them from people who can't sit through an hour of their teacher talking to them to now can play with these buddies for 3 hours and not get into any trouble. Service can really change you. It changes you to a different person.
In the refugee camp, coming from nothing to, at least coming here to live the American dream to a first world country, I have the opportunity, I have the resources here, but those kids back home don't have those kind of resources. So I wanted to open an opportunity, not just for me, but for my community, right, back home. And so that's when I was really pushed and touched in a way to give opportunities to those kids back home as well.
I think I'm incredibly lucky in that I have found my passion, and my passion is serving others, and I mean that genuinely. It's taken me a few years to find, but I feel like I've come to the realization that it is what I enjoy. It's what gives me motivation. And while I may not know how to implement that throughout the rest of my life, I know that whatever I do, I want it to incorporate serving others.
Don't just think about how it's one-sided, think about how it's two-sided. Like, you are going to get so much out of serving as well, and you're going to feel so great, and you're just going to want to keep doing it because there is no end to the great things that come out of service.